welcome back to Randalogic. I'm your host, Danny Dimes, and if you remember from the last episode, I said we're going to have a new guy joining us. Well, here he is.
Hey, man, what's up?
This is Glencoe.
Call me.
Oh, yes, call him. So, Mr. Glencoe, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and what are we doing right now?
What we're doing is driving around the mall right now, aimlessly. And I like turtles, by the way. Let's see. I'm really old. I know some things. I don't know other things. But it's always good to learn.
It's always good to learn. That's right. So, what's your day job? What do you do?
My day job? Let's see. I get paid to watch grass grow.
Excellent!
What a cool job.
Most excellent.
And also, I spray for buffaloes. I've yet to see a buffalo around where I work, so it must be working. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. So, Mr. Glencoe, thank you for telling us a little bit about yourself. I do have one question for you today.
What's that?
What's your thoughts about ghosts?
Ghosts. Ooh, I like ghosts. They're very nice, especially when we catch them.
That's not what I was talking about.
Oh, you mean what do I do? What do I think about ghosts? Well, it's very interesting. You should ask me. I've seen a lot of crazy things in my time, and I've heard a lot of crazy things in my time, too. And you know, normally this time of the year, people start talking about ghosts and things they've seen.
Because it's October.
It's October. But I have seen a lot of crazy things in my many travels over this great world that God's created. There is a lot of unexplained things. And you know what? It's always good to delve into that, to get to really know what's around us, because there's a whole world around us that we don't know anything about.
Okay, so I got a question. Okay. This is really cool. So here's the deal. I'm sorry for the camera jumping around a little bit, by the way. We're driving.
Thank you, Mall Road.
He didn't want to stop and park like I told him to, but it is what it is. So here's the deal. There's a lot of different ghost hunting shows out there, like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters, and there's a bunch of channels on YouTube. Do you think these guys are really seeing ghosts, or what do you think about that?
Well, you know, based upon what I personally experienced, I can't really say what they are or are not seeing, but I have personally been in the presence of real demons, and it's a scary thing.
Do they look like the movies? Do they have pointy horns, little cloven hooves, and little pointy teeth?
No, you know what? They can come in all shapes and sizes. As a matter of fact, they can actually look like people every day that you would see. But I promise you, the times that I've been in the presence of an actual demon, it's such a crazy feeling. You get so cold and such a feeling of emptiness and hopelessness inside. It's extremely scary. And I gotta say, I mean, for these other guys that go out and challenge demons, I mean, that's their thing. God bless them. I don't want to challenge any demons because I'm just a person.
So, who's in there? Make a noise if you're here. Make your presence known. You don't want to do that?
You know what? I have actually heard voices in empty houses. I've actually walked in, and it's funny to say, you know, you see a lot of people, they'll go in the house, they're like, hey, if there's somebody here, say something. Well, I have walked in empty houses and actually heard some really crazy things, and it's kind of scary.
We almost wrecked.
That's okay. See, that was a scary thing, too. But that's okay, because we have insurance. And not the lizard kind either.
All right, so here's the deal. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you talked about ghosts or demons. We're going to call them ghosts because it's a lot easier for people to really wrap their head around.
Absolutely.
But there are, I've seen some videos on these ghosties, and you know, I've saw some here in the U.S. and I've saw some videos overseas. Why is it that the ghosty videos in the U.S. tend to be less exciting than the ghosty videos overseas?
Well, you know, I think a lot of times people will try to challenge a spirit and start saying they're not scared of it, but when the spirit actually manifests itself, they get really, really scared. And I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there that just do fake videos to get ratings, and that makes it hard for everybody that's really experienced stuff. I mean, there's a lot of fakes.
Well, so there's a train. We're really close to a train track.
Perhaps a ghost train.
It could be a ghost train. So here's the deal, okay? So I have I've actually got a hypothesis.
Okay,
hypothesis. Not a hypothesis. It's a hypothesis. Where are we going, man?
We're going to go to the Orange and Tan store.
We cannot call the name of this store. We might get demonetized.
It's the Orange and Tan store.
All right.
A random older person.
All right, so here's the deal. Okay, my hypothesis is this: is that because the reason, like, say for instance, ghost sightings or ghost videos overseas in, say, China are a little bit more intense than here in the U.S. I think it's because of the different culture. I've heard that over in China, what they do, they teach their people, if you see a ghost, you cuss it out and you run at it. Here in the U.S., I cut you off. Yeah.
That's okay.
In the U.S., if you see a spook, you know what you do?
That's what a lot of people do. And it's what it makes you feel like you want to do, too.
Yeah, but for real though, I really think that's the reason for it. And I don't know if I can link any clips for some of these videos that I've seen. I don't know if it would get demonetized or whatever. But really, go check out these videos. And there's actually a word that you need to look up to see the best of the best. It's called a jinn.
I've heard of jinns.
Jinn. Juliet, India, November. If you look up those sightings, you're gonna see some really creepy stuff.
Absolutely.
And you know, I was watching a couple of those videos the other day, and you know, some of them you can say, "Oh man, that's fake. That's easily faked." But then some of them's like, "Wait a second, how is that's not fake? That's not CGI. That's nothing in post. That's legit. Something sticking its head out." Absolutely. And they run to it, and it's not there, and it's not in the ceiling. There's no ceiling. There's no nothing, and it's crazy. So we got just a couple more minutes here. Just a quick question for you: what do you do if a spook comes to you? A spook comes to you. What do you do?
Go, hi. What's your name?
I thought you said you wouldn't want to talk to it.
Well, see, here's the thing. When you come into the presence, you know, people talk about here or feeling cold spots and just getting these feelings. Well, a lot of that is really real. And so when you understand, when you're sensitive to what's going on around you, when you're sensitive to what's going on around you, you feel it and you know it. And I'm not going to disrespect whatever it is. I'm going to give it its space. But I am curious by nature. I like to understand what's going on and why it's going on. And, you know, a lot of people will use Ouija boards. They call them spirit boards. A lot of people think they're fake, but they're extremely real because they actually open a portal into the demonic realm, which I absolutely would not recommend because there's really only one way to deal with a demon, and that's with God. Because on our own, we have no power.
Okay, now you said God. Which God? There's a lot of different gods in this world, Mr. Glencoe.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, the only one I know is Jesus Christ. That's the only real God I know. That's the only one I believe that I have ever encountered. That's the only one I believe is real.
Okay.
That's my belief, not getting on anyone else.
No, yeah, because I just know there's like the Buddha, there's the Allah, there's all the other types of gods. And, you know, I don't know much about their religion or whatever. We could definitely do some videos on that pretty soon. I think it would be good to learn more about different religions so we can all kind of come together and respect one another.
And that's what we need to do.
Because here in the U.S., I mean, there is a myriad of different people with different beliefs. And if we are going to make it as a nation, we got to respect one another. Isn't that right?
That's true. We need to come together and love each other, and we need to respect each other's cultures and ideas. We don't need to be judgmental and angry toward each other. And just because two people don't agree, don't mean we can't be friends.
Well, so, you know, I'm going to make a reference real quick. The current situation, we have Trump versus Kamala, right, for the presidency. And their last debate, it was kind of like a kid match. Well, kids were getting angry at each other and going back and forth at each other. And it was just really annoying. But you had recently the J.D. Vance and the other guy. I forgot the other guy's name. Do you know the other guy's name? I can't remember. No. J.D. Vance is Trump's vice president pick. And then the other dude, he's an older dude that Kamala Harris picked. Don't know who he is. Anyway, they had a really, really civilized debate. They agreed on a lot of points. They disagreed on a lot of points, but they kept it civil. They kept it respectful, and that's the way that America should be. We should love, like you said, love one another, respect one another. We're not going to believe the same things. So, you know, but we have to live together, so we might as well get along.
And you know what? And that's okay not to agree on things. But just like the two men in the debate, just because I don't understand or see things the way you do doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. It just means I don't understand where you're coming from. And I think as people, we need to sit down and listen to one another.
I completely agree. And, the big thing right now in the U.S. is Democrats versus Republicans. Oh, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican. Well, like you said, if we want to make this country work, we've got to sit down, talk to one another, and say, wait a second. A Republican would say, hey, well, hold on a second. Now, you make a lot of sense on that. I don't see why you said this, but I see why you say this. Same on a Democrat to say, you know what, Mr. Republican, I don't know why you said that. I don't agree with that, but I do agree with this. And we can meet in the middle ground.
Right, we can. But see, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all flesh and blood, and we all have needs. And everybody needs help at some point.
That's right. Everybody does.
And so what we need to do as a nation, we need to push our differences aside, and we need to reach a helping hand out to each other. If you need something, or if I need something, we need to come together and work as a team to make this nation better and to make it greater. I mean, we need to reach out our hand and help our fellow man, not be judgmental, not kick them down, not say, well, you're wrong or this or that. It doesn't matter. We need to come together as a nation and love each other for the good of the people.
That's exactly right. It doesn't matter what religion, doesn't matter what ethnicity, it doesn't matter if you're one of the alphabet people. It does not matter. We need to love one another.
We do need to love one another.
And with that being said, we're at 11 minutes and 20 seconds at this point. So I think we're going to wrap this video up here. It's been really cool to talk with this guy, Mr. Glencoe. We got a lot more cool things going on. But just to let you know, Mr. Glencoe, I know you knew a little bit about Randalogic coming in, but as you saw, we started out with Ghost and we ended up with politics. So but typically we don't like talking about politics just because of it's politics. But, if the subject arises, I think it's good to kind of talk about it.
But it goes along with the ghost thing. Just because I say something one way, you see it a different way, it doesn't mean I'm right, you're wrong, you're right, and I'm wrong. It just means we have a difference of opinion. And that's why it's so interesting to sit down and to talk to each other and to really figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, one last thing. I'm gonna leave you with this. I went to a university called the Mississippi State University. I took a few different courses. One of them was applied in physical climatology. So there's two separate courses: applied climatology and physical climatology. The instructor, I'm not going to give you his name, really cool dude, but he made not an argument. We took a whole lecture, a course, a class, a day, a lecture time to talk about religion and science. And the big thing we got out of it was if we would all just work together, from scientists looking at religious people looking at scientists, we could actually see, hey, wait a second, we actually kind of agree on a lot of stuff. There's a few things that kind of, that we disagree on, but we would, like we said earlier, make things a better area. But until next time, this has been Danny Dimes, joined alongside
Glencoe Crawler, Glencoe Needs.
Until next time, keep it random.